Thursday, it's Cure Day. Problem solved live. Hey, if you're a speaker out there and you've got a presentation you're working on or anything you talk about a lot and you're looking to add something interesting, something fun, something that people will add some humor to, come on in here, joinraylive.com, like it says right there. Put questions in comments. Happy to have you on here live. Come with me, joinraylive.com. If not, I'm just going to talk about some simple things that you can do to kind of create interest in you and create interest in your presentation. What can you do to add interest, add excitement, and get things on there? Hey, there's Chris Donnell is out there, friend of the show, Special Olympic champion, multiple gold medal winner. It's good to see you there, Chris. Doing great. Hope you're doing well. Hope the foray into your sports world is doing fantastic. Let's talk speaking. Let's talk some fun. Hopefully you can come on in here, have a good time, and we'll bump up what we got here. So imagine you standing in front of a bunch of energetic people, and they're so excited to hear somebody speak. They don't even know you at this point. How do you get them started? Have you ever sat in an audience as one of those people that you're at a presentation, maybe it's something your company's doing, and the person gets up and says right to your face, "Well, good morning, everyone. How are you today? The weather is fantastic outside. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful day." And you're like, "Oh, shut up, you perky little so-and-so." Because by saying good morning and all these other things to people, you are allowing them to think in their head anything about the morning that they didn't like. And the biggest problem is when you say, "Good morning, how are you today?" you don't know what the audience is thinking. And what you just did is you took the prime piece of real estate in your presentation. The beginning and the end are the two prime pieces of real estate. And if you give those up, it's Chris, 34. Awesome. Happy birthday, Chris. That is so fantastic. I love interrupting things for good news like that. Happy birthday. We'll sing happy birthday later for you. And we're talking about the beginning and how important that is. A prime piece of real estate. It's like a plane flight. The takeoff and the landing are the two most important parts of the flight. Anything that happens in between, if there's a problem, you're okay with a little glitch, as long as the takeoff and the landing are okay and smooth and everything goes okay. So what can you do to make it so you understand what's in the audience's head while you're speaking? Well, you can start with an unbelievable fact. That's one way of doing it. I've done many a presentation where I walk out and I say, the platypus has no stomach. When you say something like that, you have to pause, because at that point, the audience is going to go, "What? The platypus has no stomach?" And I pause that. "What? The platypus has no stomach?" "It's okay. I'll wait while you Google it." Then everybody picks up their phone and starts, "Oh, it doesn't have a stomach. Wow." So a startling fact or statistic, something that makes them think. Because when you give a startling fact or statistic, they're either thinking they agree with you or disagree with you, or, "Wow, that's interesting. I never knew that." Or, "That must be crazy." You know exactly what everybody in the audience is thinking with that statement. Another way is creating a picture or an image. Picture this. Boo, boo, boo. Imagine a little 5-year-old boy just living his dream. That's one of the way one of my speeches started. And when I do it, I don't know exactly who you're referring to, what the 5-year-old looks like, or what dream they're on, but I know that everybody in the room is now thinking about a 5-year-old living a dream. What you're doing is corralling this herd of cats and putting it on the same page. You want to grab their brain and transfer it into your world as quickly as possible. And those are a couple simple ways to do it. I met a guy in a bar one time and we recognized each other. No, it's not one of those Mr. I met a man once stories. But I met this guy and we're talking to each other and we knew each other. We didn't know where from. And it turns out he was an attorney. And well, no, he wasn't that he convicted me of anything or anything. I was on a jury and he was in a district attorney's office. And we did not convict the guy of the charges that he wanted us to convict him of. And he asked me why. And I said, well, a couple reasons why. You didn't prove that he did it. You proved he was a bad guy. And so he got convicted of the lowest charge, which was like nothing, but you could tell this guy wasn't a bad guy. And he said, why didn't I convince you of this? Because you were not likable from the second you started. And I showed him like 5 different ways that he got under the skin of the jury. And he goes, wow, can you come and talk about that to my group of attorneys? Are you free to do that? Well, I'm never free, but yeah, I could do that. So I went in and talked to him, and I know they don't want to hear me because lawyers like to talk and they all believe they're great at speaking. But I wanted to teach him this concept of reaching out to your audience and dragging them into your world as quickly as possible so everyone's on the same page. So they introduced me and I walked up in front of them and I let it get uncomfortable. And then I finally smiled and I said, have you ever been seduced? And when I said seduced, a woman laughed in the corner and it spread through the entire room. And I've done this probably 100 times since then. And it does the same thing every time. And I followed that with, now, I wasn't there when you were, but I can tell by your reaction that y'all pretty much have been and you enjoyed it. And right now you're traveling back to that first time. And subconsciously, you're giving me credit for bringing back to that space. Wouldn't it be great to put a jury in the palm of your hand as quickly as I put you in the palm of mine? And when I said that, I heard the second greatest thing you can hear as a speaker. Whoa, they're murmuring, oh, that'd be good. So it was easy to speak to that group after that moment, because I had them locked in to thinking about the same thing in their head and taking them to where I wanted to go. So that's a couple easy ways to open an unbelievable fact, some sort of creating a picture. You can ask a question. Because when you ask a question, you know what they're doing is answering it. The key thing there is give them enough time to respond to the question after you ask it, because they want to reflect on what you said. People learn in times of reflection. And when you do that, they're with you, they're thinking about themselves. So you have to let them have you ever done this? Who has been to, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I've been there. Give them enough time to answer the questions so they can move forward. So 3 quick ways to begin in control of the audience. Now, your ending should tie in nicely to your beginning, because your opening and your closing are the weaves in the fabric that tie the quilt of your story together. And so if you only remember 2 things and you only have the ability to kind of memorize the 2 things, what I would do, open and closing, because that's going to tie into each other and that'll wrap it up. And you have either your call to action, your emotional appeal, whatever you want at the end. But bring those 2 things together and that will have the impact that you're looking for. Always try and turn 8 words into 3. That's what I call it. So as you look back over your presentation, you need to transcribe it, transcribe it, and look at it. And there's so many, tech is our friend now. When you transcribe it, look at it and see, am I putting the most important thoughts at the end of every sentence? If you go through and you do that, now this is kind of a little deeper than I was going to go with just the beginning and the end. But if you go and you do that, what you'll find is your message gets doubly impactful and probably 3 times the impact, because the less time you have with words, the more time they have with thoughts. And if you screw in these ideas in your speech and you keep screwing in, guess who gets screwed? Your audience. So make sure that you're doing the right thing with that. Those are a few quick tips. If somebody's got something out there that they have questions about, you can come on in here, joinraylive.com. You can put it in the comments. Here's a quick shout out to Chris. Happy birthday to Chris. Happy birthday to Chris. Happy birthday, dear 34-year-old Special Olympic Open champion, gold medal winner. Happy birthday to you. You didn't think you'd get that today. All right. So there's a little care Ray okay for you with a little froggy throat in there. Make sure your endings are smashing, great language, congruent. The key thing with a speech, as you give it the middle part of the speech, make it congruent. Your words need to tie in to your external actions, words, expressions, and emotions. So the words you're throwing out, the face you're showing, the body language you're using have to be congruent with those words. And it also has to be congruent with the internal expressions, emotions, and actions. So if you look nervous, people will not believe that you're in control. And people want a speaker to be in control. So center yourself, go forward. It's okay to use notes if you want to in a speech. The Toastmaster contest, no, but Toastmasters isn't real speaking. The contest, it's a format they've done for 100 years now. But if you're talking, don't bring cards up or pieces of paper with your notes if you do have to have them. It's natural for people to have their phones. You can put it on your phone, and the phone is heavy enough so your hand does not shake. It doesn't show it. It shows you're in charge and you're showing things what you have. So there's a few tips for you today. Happy to do these things. Tomorrow is fun day. If you've got any fun topic you want to talk about, put that in the comments here, and I will. I'll talk about that tomorrow. And I think thank you so much for listening today. We're out. Have a great Thursday. That's fantastic.